My last book today was a book suggested by my friend Danny Rogers. It's called The Day I Swapped My Dad for Two Goldfish. It's by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Dave McKean. One day, my mom went out and left me at home with just my little sister and my book. My dad sat in front of the television reading his newspaper. My dad doesn't pay much attention to anything when he's reading his newspaper. My little sister and I played in the garden. My sister played with her Barbie dolls, and I played at putting mud down my sister's neck. My friend Nathan came over to my house. He had a glass bowl with him. There was something in the glass bowl. "What's that?" I said. "Two goldfish," he said. "They're called Sonny and Beanie. Aren't they neat?" They were pretty neat. "I'll swap you them," I said. "What for?" asked Nathan. We went up to my room. My little sister tagged along. I showed Nathan my old Transformers robots and my baseball cards and my books. I showed him my old punching bag and my penny whistle that Mom said made her head ache when I blew it. I showed him my old spaceship that didn't float in the bath anymore, and the puppet with the tangled strings, and I even showed him Clowny, my clown that I sleep with. And every time I showed him something, Nathan said, "No." We went downstairs. "Isn't there anything you would swap for the goldfish?" I asked Nathan. They were very nice goldfish. They were really gold, and they swam backwards and forwards in their bowl. "No," said Nathan. "Not Transformer robots or baseball cards or books or a punching bag or a penny whistle, even if it does make your mom's head ache, or a spaceship or a puppet or even that old clown." I thought for a minute. Some people have great ideas, maybe once or twice in their life, and then they discover electricity or fire or outer space or something. I mean, the kind of brilliant ideas that change the whole world. Some people never have them at all. I get them 2 or 3 times a week. "I'll swap you my dad," I said. "Uh-oh," said my little sister. "That's not a fair swap," said Nathan. "I've got 2 goldfish and you've only got 1 dad." "He's bigger than your goldfish, though," I pointed out. "He's as big as 100 goldfish." "Can he swim?" asked Nathan. "Better than a goldfish," I told Nathan. "Liar," said my little sister. "He splashes and splashes at the swimming pool." "Okay," said Nathan. "He gave me the 2 goldfish in the goldfish bowl and took my dad away with him." I watched the goldfish for a while. "You'll get into big trouble when Mommy gets home." "Won't." "You'll see," said my little sister. When my mother came home, I said, "Mom, can we buy some goldfish food?" "If we have to, dear," said my mother. "Where's your father?" "Come and see my goldfish," I said. "Aren't they pretty?" "Moof, moof, moof," said my little sister. "Very pretty, dear," said my mother. "Don't speak with your mouth full, darling," said my mother. She shouted up the stairs. She knocked on the door of the bathroom. She called out in the garden. My father didn't reply. "That's very odd," said my mother. "Moof, moof, moof," said my little sister. "Don't pay any attention to her," I said. "Come and look at my goldfish." But my mother untied my little sister and took the sock out of her mouth. Do you know where your father is?" my mother asked. My little sister pointed at me. "He swapped him to his friend Nathan for those 2 goldfish." My mother looked at me sharply. "Young man," she said, "is this true?" She only calls me young man if she's very mad. "Yes," I said. "Right," said my mother, and she picked up the bowl of goldfish and handed it to me. "You can take these goldfish over to Nathan this minute, and don't you come back without your father." "I told you so," said my little sister. "And you can go with him," said my mother. "Fancy allowing your brother to swap your father for 2 goldfish in a bowl. The very idea." So we went to Nathan's house. He only lived over the road. I knocked on the door. Nathan's mother came out. "Is Nathan here?" I asked. "Where did you get those goldfish?" she asked me. "They were a present from Nathan from his Aunt Violet." "I swapped them," I said, "and now I have to swap them back again." She sent Nathan out to talk to me. "Here are your goldfish," I told him. "Thank you," said Nathan. "Now can I have my dad back, please?" "Well," said Nathan, "yes and no." "Uh-oh," said my little sister. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked Nathan. "Follow me," he said. We went upstairs to Nathan's bedroom. It was even messier than my bedroom. Nathan had an electric guitar, a big white one. "I swapped this electric guitar with Vashti. Sing," he said. "Nathan," I said to him, "what did you swap to Vashti so she would give you her electric guitar?" "If you get off of me, I'll tell you," he said. I got off him. "I swapped your dad," he said. "Humph," I said. "Humph," said my little sister. "Well, he wasn't very exciting," said Nathan. "All he did was read the paper." I took the guitar and walked over to Vashti's house. "I could be a rock and roll star," I said to my sister. "You could be an idiot," said my sister to me. I rang Vashti's doorbell. "I've got your guitar for you," I said to Vashti. Vashti giggled. All Vashti's sisters giggled too. "Can I have my dad back, please?" They giggled again. "Please, Vashti," said my little sister. Vashti shrugged her shoulders. "Wait here," she said. She took the guitar away from me. When she came back, she was carrying a gorilla mask. "Oh no," I said. "Oh no," said my little sister. "I swapped your dad with Blinky," said Vashti. "Blinky had this really good gorilla mask." "Where's Blinky's house?" I asked Vashti. She told me how to get there. It was going to be a long walk. We set off. "Can I put on the gorilla mask?" asked my little sister. "Okay," I said. She put on the gorilla mask. "When are you going to put it on?" I said, and then I laughed and laughed and laughed. "When are you going to put on the gorilla mask?" My little sister took off the gorilla mask. We walked some more. I put on the gorilla mask. My sister went over to a policeman. "Help, quick!" shouted my sister. "That gorilla is escaping from the zoo." The policeman ran over and caught me. He made me take off the mask, and then he told me off. He would have told my sister off, only she did her innocent little girl face, so he didn't. It's not fair. "Hee hee," said my sister. "Watch it," I told her. "Just watch it. That's all." Blinky had a very big house. We went up to the front and rang the bell. The butler came out. "Can we speak to Blinky?" I said to the butler. "Whom shall I say is calling?" said the butler. "Me," I said. "And me," said my little sister. Blinky came down the big stairs. He looked very pleased to see the gorilla mask. "Are you bringing it back?" he asked. "Yes, we are," I told him. Blinky made the butler give us ginger beer. I liked it even though the bubbles tickled my nose. My sister made a face. "Now," I asked when I finished the ginger beer, "where's my dad?" "Ah," said Blinky, "he went away again around the side of the house." "This is Galveston," said Blinky when he came back. Galveston was a fat white rabbit with one black ear. "Galveston's what I swapped your father for," said Blinky. I gave him the gorilla mask. He gave me Galveston and a map he drew of how to get to Patty's house. I'd never walked so far in my whole life. "I think ginger beer is the most horrible thing in the world," said my sister. "Worse than boiled beets?" I asked her. While we walked, Galveston the rabbit sat in my arms and made its nose go waffly. My sister tried to make her nose go waffly as Galveston's, but she couldn't do it. I knocked on the door of Patty's house. "Galveston!" shouted Patty. "Galveston!" shouted Patty's mother and father. "Galveston!" shouted Patty's brothers. "Galveston!" shouted the Queen of Melanesia, who was there on a visit. They took the rabbit away from us and fussed over it and gave it some lettuce. Patty took my hand. "Thank you for bringing Galveston back," she said. "We missed it. We walked into the back garden." There was a little rabbit hutch there, and next to the rabbit hutch was a little run with chicken wire all around it. My dad sat on the grass in the chicken wire run, reading his newspaper and eating a carrot. He looked a bit lonely, and he had grass over his trousers. "Come on, Dad," I said, and I opened the gate in the chicken wire. My dad crawled through the gate and on his hands and knees. "He's not a very good rabbit," said Patty. "He's not meant to be," I said. "He's a very good daddy." "He can keep the carrot," she said. "Thanks for bringing back Galveston." "No problem," I said. "See ya." "You like her," said my little sister. "I can tell. I'm going to tell everyone at school." Last week, my little sister told everyone at school that I was adopted. The week before, she told everyone at school that I was a space alien pretending to be me. "If you do, I'll tell everyone you're secretly fat." "Children," said my father, and he carried on eating his carrot and reading his paper until we got home. When we got home, my mother said things like, "Just look at the state of him," and made him go and have a bath, and she put all his clothes into the washing. While Dad was in the bath, my mother told me off, and when she'd finished telling me off, she made me promise, cross my heart, that I would never, ever swap my dad for anything, ever, ever again. And I promised, so I won't. But I never promised anything about my little sister. The end.